Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to your midweek yoga. We are going to kind of just go no script tonight, other than celebrating that beautiful full moon we had last night, how that affected us today. And certainly this evening, it will be as lovely as well. Otherwise, we're just going to have something easy and classic and hopefully enjoyable. So, my recommendation is to go into whatever position you feel comfortable with. So, maybe you'd like to start out in Shavasana. Maybe you'd like to be here with me in Sukhasana, always seems to be my go to. You can certainly come up on your knees for Vajrasana, or you can sit here and do a little half lotus or full lotus. And then there's that always delicious, always welcome child's pose. So if you want to change at any given point in time during the breath work, that's fine too. So we're just going to take a nice deep breath in, preferably through the nose, tip of the nose, allowing all that nice, fresh, clean air to come in. And on the exhale, feel free to make a sound, take a little movement, a little wiggle, releasing. And take one more deep breath in, and maybe on the exhale, invite your eyes to close, or just find a soft gaze over the bridge of your nose if you are sitting up. If you're in Shavasana, might be a little bit harder in child's pose. And just settle in to your body. Arrive at your space. Again, notice any little wiggles or adjustments you might like to make. Maybe it's just as simple as flexing and pointing the toes and just kind of letting them relax. Maybe it's a raising of the eyebrows and then just letting them fall and relax. Maybe it's a little scrunch of the shoulders up towards the ears and then just letting them drop. Again, that'll be a little challenging in child's pose, but maybe there's some wiggle or movement you can allow yourself to fall into as you just settle into a normal, natural, easy breath, whatever that is for you, whatever is your norm. And sometimes when we pay attention to the breath, it becomes less. It becomes less normal or usual. That's okay too. Just bringing that attention there. Maybe there's a big expansion of breath tonight on the inhale, a nice slow steady on the exhale. Maybe the breath is a little jagged. Maybe there's a quick breath happening. But when we pay attention to the breath, that does allow us to control it just a little bit more and to just fall in and acknowledge that you're here on your mat, in your space. Allow all the points of the body that are touching the ground to just sink in a little deeper. Maybe the points in the body just above those areas that are touching the earth. Maybe those fall in a little bit as well, a little more relaxation just by the thought, just by directing your attention there. And then rising up another layer. If you're on your back, maybe you're at the mid body. If you're sitting up, maybe that's somewhere around the belly. And if you're in child's pose, that could be mid brain, that could be lower rib cage, tailbone. And just slowly start to work your way up from the ground. And a conscious effort to just acknowledge the tension or the tightness or even the openness that you feel in each of those layers. I'm going to take about 8 more breaths here. See if you can work your way up to the top. Again, if you're sitting, the top will probably be the crown of your head. If you're in child's pose, that might be the mid-spine, right at the back area. And if you're lying on your back, maybe it's the tip of your nose. Will be that last spot you think about, releasing into the earth. On the next inhale, just come back to the mat, come back to the space around you. Notice any sensations on the skin, any feelings at the tip of the toes, tip of the fingers, tip of the nose, top of the head. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly start to open our eyes. And we're going to meet each other in sitting pose. And I would recommend Sukhasana here. Slowly start to inhale, reaching the arms up once you get here in your seated pose. We're going to exhale, taking those palms back down to the mat. And on the inhale, bringing it right back up. Nice full moon expansion here, big circles. Inhaling, rising up. Exhaling, opening up those arms. 2 more breaths on your own, however fast or however slow you want to go. Really reaching through the fingertips, nice straight elbows, maybe drawing that crown up towards the sky. Backbone is somewhat straight, and even the chin can draw back a little bit just to help that neck neutralize and really draw up. And then on the next inhale, slowly crawl those right fingers out towards the right. And on the exhale, we're going to bring that left arm up towards the sky and just let it come over the left ear. And on the next inhale, coming up to center. Exhale, coming up to the other side. And maybe your arms are bent a little bit. Maybe there's just some nice swaying as we inhale and exhale. Real liquid fluid movements here. Maybe the gaze comes up towards the ceiling on the exhale as we bend over. Maybe it's straight ahead. And maybe you can even look down at your mat. So you're getting a little stretch of the neck there. Maybe looking off to the side, behind you, as you come over and down. Next inhale, we're all going to meet at the top. We're going to take left hand to right knee, right hand to just behind us. Inhale, nice and tall, lifting the chest, opening up the shoulders. Exhale, start to look over that right shoulder. Maybe deciding to draw your belly button in for just a little extra release of the breath. Before we inhale, arms coming back up towards center, exhaling over towards the other side, left side. And again, inhaling and exhaling as we twist on the exhales, inhaling on the lift. Nice and fluid, lots of liquidity here. Feel free to let the fingers be up and active in the sky on the inhale. Allow a little bend of the elbows as you twist for the exhale. And maybe the head just kind of loosely comes to the center and around to the back. No stiffness here. Just enjoying that nice movement. Allowing the belly to open up, the chest to open up, shoulders are getting nice and lubricated. We're going to meet back here on the inhale, preferably after that last turn towards the left. On the exhale, we're going to plant hands in front of us. Just walk our hands out. And maybe if you're feeling it, you can start to lower the head on the exhale. Taking a little forward fold here over crossed legs. Couple of breaths, just opening up that lower back. Seeing if you can keep those sits bones down onto the mat. A couple more breaths here. Maybe reaching the fingers out a little bit further, just for that last breath. Before we exhale, start walking those hands back towards your feet. On the inhale, arms rise up one more time as we exhale, coming to tabletop. So that will be up on our knees. We're going to curl those toes under. Elbows will be over wrists, shoulders over elbows. And we're going to just get right into our cow cats. I say cow because that's always the first thing on the inhale. So we're going to drop the belly, sending the gaze slightly upward, join the shoulders towards the tailbone. Exhale, maybe the tops of the feet flatten as we draw the tailbone now down and the mid spine draws up towards the sky. The head drops. Real nice extension here of the pose on the exhale for cat. And then just go into your inhales and exhales. Cat and cows. Take any movements that you like. Flip your wrists maybe one at a time. Just opening everything up at your own pace tonight. It's always at your own pace every night, let's be honest. Maybe taking any little sickles of the hips, maybe looking over the shoulder. One inhale, one exhale, left and right. Maybe some circles. If we're going to do circles tonight, let's make sure we keep it balanced on both sides. If you're going to do 2 or 3, 3 or 4 to the right, make sure that you do that same thing to the left. And sitting back on your heels. And try to get the head involved. You know, make it a dance. Make it a moon dance. If I had my playlist, that would be on here. And then we're just going to settle back into our T-bowl. We're going to go into thread the needle, putting that pressure into the left hand to start. Keeping the toes maybe flat onto the mat for stability. If you feel like you want a little stretch in the soles of your feet, go for it. You can come up on the balls. Otherwise, with the inhale, peeling that right hand up towards the sky. And on the exhale, we're just going to dip it between the thigh and the left arm on the exhale. And on the inhale, coming back up. And on the exhale, coming down. You know the drill. We're going to keep it fluid for about 3 or 4 more rounds. Inhaling on the reach, exhaling on the fold over, threading that needle. Maybe on the next inhale, when you exhale, allowing that arm to just stay there for a moment. So the tips of the right fingers are going to be facing the ground, back of the palm pressing. Maybe taking that left hand now and walking it towards the front of the mat. Coming up on the fingertips, like you have a little bird cage right there in the left palm. Settling in with the right temple towards the mat. And if it's in your practice, inhale, arm up. Exhale, maybe take a half bind. And just opening up that right shoulder. Next inhale, wherever you're at, that left hand is going to come up towards the sky. And we're going to plant that left hand right in front of the face. One more inhale before we exhale, pressing up, taking that right hand one more time, also up to the sky. We're going to plant that down on the mat and go right into the inhale on the other side. So right hand is planted, left arm comes up, exhale, tap it down. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, tap it down. About 4 more times on your own. Whatever works best for you, getting that movement in the shoulders, bending of the elbows, little slight twist in the torso. And when you are ready, that next inhale, you're going to really rise it up. And on the exhale, keep it down. Pressing the left fingertips down into the floor or the mat. Inhale, that right hand is going to come up towards the top of the mat, little bird cage nestled in between the fingers. Palm is lifted on the right hand. Nice reach coming out from the flanks to the armpit. Arm is extended, elbow is nice and straight. Little press of the fingertips on that left hand into the ground. That's the back of your hand. And again, if you're so inclined to take that right hand up towards the sky on the inhale, maybe exhale, get a little half bind. You can grab the edge of your shirt to keep your hand there. You can tuck your fingers in between the crease or the hip crease of the left side. And just allow that left temple to melt down, left back shoulder to open. I'm just getting a little twist, opening up that heart. Next, inhale, right arm is going to come up towards the sky. We're going to plant it in front of the face. Take another inhale before we exhale, pressing up. Left arm will come up towards the sky for that final reach before we settle it back down into table. Curling the toes under. We're going to walk out those hands, just one hand length. A nice inhale before we exhale for downward facing dog, curling the toes, lifting those hips up towards the sky. Planting the feet perhaps, or staying with a bended knee, whatever you decide. We're going to make sure that we outwardly rotate those elbow creases, supporting the shoulders, allowing the head to drop. And maybe just walking out the feet for your first downward facing dog. If the heels hit the mat, great. If not, and it's a little stiff today, no worries. You can start out with a bent knee down dog and just try to keep those hips lifted. Imagine that balloon in the belly lifting you higher, allows the head to drop. Fingertips really supporting the palm supporting the wrists. Outward rotation of the elbow supporting the shoulders. And just settle into your downward dog. Couple of nice deep breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. Making any kind of sounds. Allowing the lips to flutter perhaps. And just really wringing it out. I'm supposed to be in stillness, but for some reason I'm feeling my hips just wanting to rock back and forth a little bit. Maybe I need a little more nurturing, not sure. But I'm going to listen to my body, what's calling to me. Hopefully you're doing the same. And if your body calls to you to go back into child's pose, that's always an option. On the next inhale, we're going to take that right toe and bringing it up towards the sky, pointing it, maybe bending that right knee, bringing that right heel towards the left glute, maybe just a couple of pumps of the leg, straightening and bending, making sure that we're keeping equal pressure in both the right and left hand, arm, shoulders, so that our three-legged dog is fully supported by all three of the legs. All right, when you're ready, we're going to plant that right foot down. And let's just get that left foot going too. We're going to point the left foot towards the back of the room and start to bring that foot to the right glute. So the left heel coming to the right glute, bending and stretching, opening it up, really active here, trying to keep that equal weight balance between the two front hands, back foot. And when you're ready, we're going to plant that foot down. We are back in downward facing dog on the exhale. Inhale, take those knees down towards the mat. Exhale, rise up, arms coming up towards the sky. So we are sitting on our knees, we're off our heels. Exhale, sit back down on the heels. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, round the back, reaching the hands in front of us. On the inhale, we're going to slide those hands forward and we're going to slowly all meet here in low cobra for a second. Couple of breaths here. Pressing into the mat with forearms. Maybe the gaze is lifting. Inhale, plant those hands at the sides of the rib cage, curl the toes under. Exhale, press it back up to downward facing dog. One more breath here before we exhale, planting those knees down. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, come and sit back on those heels. Inhale, rise it up on the knees one more time. Exhale, cast the hands forward. Slide them down. Slide the chest, a little low cobra. Couple of breaths here. Inhale, press those hands to the outer sides of the rib cage. Exhale, curl those toes under, rise it up, downward facing dog. One nice breath here. On exhale, lowering those knees. Rising it up, inhale. Exhale, coming back down to the heels. Inhale, rising it up. Exhale, cast those hands forward. Inhale, lower to the forearm, slide it out for cobra. Inhale. Nice breath here. Inhale one more time. We're going to bring those hands back to each side of the rib, curl the toes. Exhale, rise it up, downward facing dog. This time we're going to inhale, taking that right foot up towards the sky. Exhale, bring that knee to nose and allow that right foot to plant in front between the two front hands. Exhale, we're going to let that left knee drop. Inhale, rise it up. Exhale, lower it down. Inhale, bring that left foot to the right. Exhale, forward fold. First forward fold of the night. If you want to take your opposite hands to opposite elbows, give a little ragdoll. Maybe allowing the crown of the head to draw towards the earth. Maybe knees are bent. Maybe you're still. Maybe you're twisting side to side. I encourage you to place your feet wherever they are the most comfortable. If that's a little bit wider, that's fine too. If they're right under your hips, that's cool. And if you want to try feet together before we take our halfway lift, press the hands into the shins for that halfway Ardha Uttanasana. Shining the heart, drawing the shoulder blades back. On the exhale, going back to that forward fold before we root to rise. So however you need to get there, get there. Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing salute. Bring the hands into prayer Anjali Mudra right here at the chest. Nice inhale and exhale as we slowly start to make that strong contact with the mat. Nice grounding for Tadasana pose. Maybe the eyes close for a moment as we think about our grounding source, our foundation. Also rooting to rise. Knees lift, belly button draws back, rib cage lifts, heart lifts. Shoulders can even lift for a moment before we allow them to fall and drop back. Crown of the head lifts. Maybe the chin draws back. Inhale, arms come up for upward facing salute. Exhale, we're gonna forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, hands are gonna plant towards the mat. We're gonna take that left foot back, planting the knee. Inhaling, rising up, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, plant the hands down. Inhale, curling that back toe under, rising up on the exhale. We're gonna slide that right foot back into downward facing dog. Inhale, we're gonna take that left leg up towards the sky. Exhale, we're just gonna plant that on the front of the mat between the front hands, lowering that back knee down. Maybe the foot flattens as well. As we inhale for Anjaneyasana here. Exhale, allow those hands to plant on the mat. Maybe the curl of the toe is beginning of your exhale as you step forward into forward fold, finishing that exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising it up, reverse swan up into Urdhva Hastasana, upward facing salute. Exhale, we're gonna come into our Tadasana or our Anjali Mudra Tadasana. And when you're ready for your next inhale, arms will rise up, Urdhva Hastasana, exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, really shining the chest here. Exhale, forward fold. This time the hands will plant down, the right foot's gonna step back, knee will drop. And on that inhale, coming up for your Anjaneyasana. Exhale, planting those hands down. Inhale, we're curling that back toe under. Exhale, we're gonna let that left foot join the right, but we're gonna be in plank now. Exhale, lower the knees, lower the chest, scoop it forward on the inhale for that low cobra again. Exhale, bring it back to child's pose. On the inhale, sliding it forward, one last little cobra, one last little wave to the shore. And on the exhale, curl those toes back up to downward facing dog. Take 2 breaths here. Coming up on both toes, getting a nice stretch, nice reach. Lowering the left heel, we're gonna take the right toes way up towards the sky. Bend that knee, step it forward. This time we're gonna come into our runner's lunge. Getting a nice strong footing there, making sure that the hips are square. That right knee perhaps is nestled somewhere around the right armpit. We're gonna bring that right hand out towards the side, left hand out towards the side. Just kind of bend into that right knee for a moment. Couple of pulses there, nice and fluid. When you're ready, allow that right knee to track over the right foot. We're gonna reach forward, inhaling, coming up to our high lunge. Keep that back knee active. Maybe even wiggle out that left foot, maybe get a wider stance. Heel is really high on the back left foot. Nice high lunge, maybe the gaze just starts to slide up the wall. On the next inhale, we're gonna start to pivot that left foot in the back, and then exhale, knee tracks forward into the right in the front for warrior 2. Inhale, this time, reaching back for your peaceful warrior. Beautiful. Exhale, we're gonna take that forearm right to that bent knee, extending that left arm up, keeping it at the hip. We're taking it straight up over that left ear. Maybe the gaze is straight ahead. Maybe the gaze is up at the ceiling. Or you can even try that one of looking down towards your mat like we did on those side bends during warm up. And just feel how that makes that left back neck area just open right up. All right, on the inhale, we're gonna take it back to reverse triangle. So we're straightening that right knee. And I use reverse triangle as my cue tonight. So that means that we're going to do triangle next. So on the exhale, start hinging forward. Feel free to grab a block. If you're doing a block tonight, maybe planting it on the outer edge of that right front foot. Being careful not to overextend that knee. You want to keep a little bit of a bent knee in there. That's fine. We don't want to hyperextend that. Making sure that that left heel is nicely planted. Peeling that left arm up towards the sky. Checking that alignment that we have this nice right arm going straight up towards the sky with the left fingertips. Looks so beautiful, so elegant. And if you are feeling comfy, maybe just try leaning it back a little bit, especially if you have that block planted on the outer edge of the right foot. That's going to give you some nice space. And you can even be crazy and take that block and move it away from the foot. I've got mine about 5 inches away from my foot. It allows me to really just press into that block with my right hand. And I can open up my chest even more. Another breath there before we exhale, bending that knee. Let's take that block with us and come into our 5-pointed star. So maybe let's hold that block above our head. For those of you who don't have that block ready or planted on the other side, that's fine. You can just imagine you're carrying the weight of the world up in your shoulders and your fingertips. Before we spin that left foot to face the back of the mat. So the toes are going to point to the back. Pivot that right ankle. Exhale with a bent knee. Just put that block behind that left foot. We're going to be setting up for our high lunge now. So we're going to completely turn that heel back so that we're up on the balls of the right foot now. So the right heel will be back. Really track that left knee now over the left toes. We're going to set up first with our hands on the floor. So the right hand's going to go to the right, left hand to the left, almost at 2 and 10 o'clock. Get your alignment straight by allowing that left knee to plant into the left armpit. Play with that knee lift on the right side. Get high on the balls of the toes. Play with a little bit more bending and lowering in that high lunge so that you can feel that fluidity and feel that bounce. Get some movement there, pressing into the left foot and just allowing that buoyancy to happen. When you're feeling good and you want to bring it up to your high lunge, great, we'll all meet there. Couple of breaths. Drawing up that back knee, high on the right ball mound. Inhale and just drop that right foot back, setting up for warrior 2 now. Exhale, we're going to move forward with that left knee towards the left, still tracking over the toes. Arms come up, warrior 2. Inhale, slide that hand back down for peaceful warrior. Exhale, move it forward, arm to thigh. Maybe the arm comes in front of the foot this time. If you have a block and you want to place your block in front of your arch, take the exhale with a hand on the hip. Take it with it up in the sky. Or settle in with that right arm over the right ear. Gaze can be up, gaze can be out, hello. Or gaze can be down if you want to feel that nice stretch in the back right neck. That is calling to me tonight. So because that's calling to me, I'm going to leave my right arm up to the sky and I'm going to look down at my hand on the brick, see if I can just get in a little bit deeper on that left knee bend before I take it back for reverse triangle on the inhale. And then we know what's happening. We're going to exhale, hinge forward. Taking it to triangle on this side, maybe reversing the placement of your brick, making sure you're feeling really sturdy in your legs and your feet. Make any adjustments that you may need to make before we bring that right arm up to the sky for Trikonasana triangle pose. Again, gaze can go up, out or down. Maybe you decide to play with that block, moving it out a little bit more to the left, leaning into that triangle, almost as if you're flying in the clouds, like you have airplane wings. When you're ready, inhale, and we're going to bend that left knee. Take that block up and overhead. Toes are going to come to the long side of the mat, back into your 5-pointed star. I actually call this three-pointed because I consider the block and the hands to be one point up at the top. If you don't have a block and you want to do prayer hands up here, it's beautiful as well. You look great, looking lovely, looking like what is that? What car company is that? Oh yeah, I think it's a Mercedes star. That's what you're looking like. Beautiful. Exhale, we're going to take that block or hands, and we're just going to hinge forward to forward fold. Just settling here for a moment so we can neutralize the spine. So whether you're on your fingertips or you're on the block, either way, you're winning. And if you can't get down that far, no big deal. You can just kind of hold the core muscles tight while the hands are at the hips or waist. So again, I always invite the block in to put the hairline on. I play with the levels sometimes. Of course, there is the option, which I don't usually take on Zoom classes, because when I bust a headstand, I always need my blanket. And inadvertently, I usually will lose an ear pod and it just gets crazy. But if you would love to take a little quick inversion, go right ahead. We will have time to most likely do that on the other side as well. But just taking some breaths here in forward fold. And if you're feeling a little antsy and you want to come up to your halfway lift and you want to do some knee bends, you can bend into the right, straightening the left, bending into the left, straightening the right. And even coming up on the heels, maybe the toes come up towards the sky. I'm just using my block as a little leverage. Getting some movement in my ankles and knees because I just don't feel like being in a forward fold all that time. And I'm not in a headstand. Alrighty. On your second breath, you're going to have your exhale rising up. So again, that could be hands on the hips. That could be the use of the block. And we could just maybe move the block to the other side of the mat behind us, because we might need that for our forward fold on the other side, or possibly the blanket on the other side in case you want to bust a headstand. And when I say bust, hopefully you don't bust anything, but if you fall, that's yoga, folks. All right, we're going to heel toe the feet in. And we're going to just do some neutral hip poses. Step that right foot forward, left foot back. So you can almost go just the width of your mat. That's fine enough to do a pyramid pose. The idea is that the toes will be facing forward. We're going to inhale for the lift, exhale for that stretch. Not spending a long time in pyramid because we did just have our forward fold already, but just allowing the head to loosen up. On the inhale, we're just going to hinge back the way we came in, picking up that back left heel, taking out just a little bit further. We're going to bend into that right knee for our warrior one. So that left heel hopefully will be making contact this time with the floor, which is why I kind of recommend a little shorter stance, because we're just going to get right into that neutral posture. On the exhale, pressing into that right foot, we can try to come up into our warrior three. Feel free to do airplane arms. Either way, we want that back foot to feel like you're standing on a wall. Toe is going to be pointing straight down towards the mat. Head will be looking at the floor in front. Nice lift of that back leg, strong right leg. Exhale, we're going to come up. Take it back to pyramid, drop it down. Inhale, we're going to come up just with a bent knee. And we're going to take that left foot and just switch feet. So now the left foot is going to join the right. And on the exhale, the right will step back. Again, you just have to go the width distance of your mat. Just going to rise it up for a nice inhale. Straightening that front knee now, exhaling to your pyramid pose. Just a few breaths here. I like to wiggle out my hips. We're keeping those hips facing forward in pyramid, Toes are facing forward in pyramid. Crown of the head is drawing forward and down. Really allowing that whole back to just open up at the blades, sort of draping the arms down. Inhale, coming out of the pose the way we came in. Arms are going to be up. We're going to bend that left knee. May need to open up your feet a little bit more, but we want to plant that right heel down. And this shorter stance may allow you to just get a deep enough bend in that left knee. Don't have to be crazy. Hips are going to face forward as we just come up for that little back bend of warrior one. Nice breath here. Before we inhale and exhale, pressing up onto that left foot, coming into our Virabhadrasana 3 on this side. Right toes are going to be active, pointing down towards the ground. Come out the hands with airplane arms or palms up towards the back. Gazes at the floor as we really engage that left leg. See if you can go a little bit higher. Nice Virabhadrasana 3, everyone. Exhale, let it come down. Give a little hello to that warrior one. Before we come back, hands plant in front, we can bring that right foot to join the left foot with a little bended knee. And on the inhale, press it up, Urdhva Hastasana. All right, now we're gonna set up for half moon pose first, and then we can take our forward fold, and we might just bring it back to this side. So grab that block, set it up if you need it. Face that front of the mat, and we're going to dip into our warrior 2. We're going to be a little bit more of an open hip pose here. So really allow yourself to get nice and buoyant in that right knee, kind of what we were doing before in our lunges, just getting a little bit of movement. Taking the hand to the floor or hand to the block to the right side in front of you. We're going to come up on that back ball mound and start to give some pumps of the foot, just like we were doing in our warm-ups, just pumping the leg, getting a little workout here before we finally commit to keeping that leg up and that right hand planted down on the floor of the block. Once you're feeling comfortable there, extend that back foot. Again, like you're standing on the back wall, foot is flexed except the toes this time are pointing to the left. Now we can stay here with the hand on the hip. We can bring the arm up. We can look up, we can look out, or we can look down. Sometimes that's a nice way to get grounding, and sometimes I can get my left foot just to lift a little bit higher when I'm looking down. For some reason, when I look up, it starts to lower. I don't know why. You would think I'm looking up, it would go up, but it doesn't always work that way. Anyway, this is your half moon pose in celebration of our full moon. Nice breath, don't forget. And when you're ready, we're gonna lower it. Let's bring the block up, a 3-pointed star at the wide side of your mat. Setting up on the other side. Get into that left knee, maybe start in our warrior 2, really opening up that right hip because we're gonna want that open when we get into our half moon. Play with some lunging, some buoyancy, settling in on the left hand, getting that stability before we start popping up on that right toe. Couple of pumps, maybe taking that right heel to the right glute. We might as well get that little workout while we're here. And then when you're ready to stable in on that left foot, left arm, that right foot now can extend, pointing the toes, taking the arm up, Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Equally as beautiful on this side though, guys. All right. Taking the gaze maybe to the floor for that next stretch. That's letting my right foot come up a little higher. Come down. Bring that block with you. Get a nice 3-pointed star stretch. And now we'll take it back for that forward fold. So this is the area where you can definitely come into a headstand. And I'm going to demo if my headphones allow me. What I like to do is put a little blanket underneath my head, planting my hands somewhat directly in front of my breastbone. Nice wide fingers. I like to bend my knees, slowly get my head to make contact with the blanket on top. Then I start to bring my feet in. You saw that just happens automatically. My knees stabilize on my elbows. Drawing my toes together, pointed toes, I could just stay here. Certainly I could press up. And again, feel free to do so if you feel afraid of falling, no big deal. Hopefully you got everything cleared out around you. This is just a nice little inversion just to stay here. Hoping my pods stay in so you can hear me. Keeping the arms close together, keeping the elbows drawing towards each other creates a nice strong foundation. You know, I love a good foundation. And then keeping those toes pointed, nicely engaged. And again, if it's in your calling to do your full headstand, go for it. Maybe you're already there. I can't see the camera, so I'm assuming everyone is safe. And when you're ready, you can plant your feet back onto the ground and slowly start to rise up, very super slow, from your forward fold. Excellent. Going to bring the feet together. Just going to do a quick back bend to finish up. Another little balancing pose. We're going to go into dancer. So let's start by planting that left foot firmly into the ground, having our Tadasana on the left side this time. So all the same cues, finding the four corners, finding your foundation stability, drawing up through the knee, allowing the belly perhaps to draw back towards the tailbone, lifting the chest. I'm going to take that right hand off to the side. I like to stabilize my left hip with my hand. Crown is drawing up towards the sky to start. As I bend that right knee, I like to catch the inner part of my foot. Ergonomically, that works out for me. My hand just fits right into the arch. Starting to press that foot into the right hand allows me to come forward. Left arm comes out, and maybe I start to pick it up. The gaze can be out in front, can be slightly up towards the top of the room, pressing in, but not feeling too stiff in that left leg. Maybe allowing a little bit of movement, nice fluidity. There's something about this pose, I don't know why, it reminds me of the moon. I don't know why. Maybe because it's like you're reaching up for the moon. On the exhale, we're going to release, shake it out a little bit. And then come to the right leg, stability there, building up from your foundation. Four corners of the feet, knee, thighs, lower glute, belly. Left hand draws out, shoulders draw back. Picking up that left leg now, reaching back for the inner left arch of the foot. Finding it, pressing in, starting to come forward so that right arm can reach out. Pressing up a little bit more, so pressing the hand to the foot, foot to the hand, right fingertips reaching for the moon, reaching for the stars beyond the moon. Remember, each side's going to feel different. Fall in, fall out. Looks so pretty. Yay! Moon dancers. All right. When you're ready, we're going to release that foot. Shake it out. And you're going to join me, and I'm going to join you on the mat. And since I mentioned star, why don't we do some stargazing stretches just to sort of get out that last burst of energy. Maybe we start a little fast in our fluidity, and then we'll start to take it down. So we're going to set up with pinwheel legs. So the left knee is going to be bent, maybe facing the bottom of your mat. That left foot can just maybe even rest on the right knee for the moment. And the right knee is going to kind of be at a 90-degree angle from the left. Left toe is pointing towards the back, or sorry, the front of your mat in this case. Planting that left hand onto the ground. We're going to inhale, reaching up. Exhale, find the extension of that pose. So the left hip is going to come up. Maybe the gaze is towards your fingers. And then we're going to come down for the inhale, switching legs. We're just going to take that pinwheel right over to the other side. Right knee goes towards the top, left toes towards the bottom. Planting the right hand this time, take it to the other side. I think we'd still be on an inhale here. And the exhale, we sweep it forward, switching sides. So inhale, exhale, inhale to the side, and exhale back to center as we flip the legs. And again, we're just gonna move it out for a little bit, quicker stretching. And then just intuitively know that we're coming to the end of our practice. We wanna start to take our star gazes a little bit slower. You know, maybe your chest starts out pointing up towards the sky. And then as you start to slow down, notice perhaps you're looking more towards the ground. Remember, we were talking about that back and neck stretch. So maybe actively when you're coming to the left, you're going to open up that right neck in the back. And when you're coming to the right side, maybe actively opening up that left back part of your neck. And just really slowing it down, feeling the nice extension of the pose on the breath. That's going to bring attention back to the breath. It's going to allow you to let everything start to quiet down. When you've done your last round to the left, we're going to meet in butterfly pose. Feel free to reach for a blanket. You can prop right behind you. Sitting on the edge of that blanket gives you just a little bit of a lift. May even allow you to bring those heels a little bit closer towards the body. May allow you now at this point to have those knees dropping out a little bit further. On the inhale, we're going to reach up. And on the exhale, we're going to forward fold. Just staying in your breath here. Actively pressing those feet together. It's going to allow you to actively, inactively draw your knees down towards the mat. So you're getting a nice opening here in the hip flexors. A nice stretch in that lower back as you come forward. And if whatever I'm saying you're not feeling that in your body, then you do your own forward fold where you can get the most out of it. Most important thing here is though, even though the feet and the hips, the knees seem a little bit active, maybe even that lower tailbone or lower back. Notice if the breath is starting to speed up. Notice if it's a little jagged or uneven. And kind of go back to what we were doing at the beginning of practice. You know, hang on to it, notice it. Control it without over controlling it. See if you can just ease back into that space. See if you can just fall back in. Any tension or tendency to think about one area of the body, maybe just send a nice round of breath to that area. Maybe on the second round of breath, on the exhale, maybe you find just a little bit of looseness, a little bit of relief. Talk to the area around that area. And if you can't release the specific tightness, maybe the area around the tightness can just ease up a little bit. A few more breaths here in your forward fold. On the next exhale, we're going to rise up. And I'm going to invite you to take whatever pose you would like to finish with tonight. So that may just be going right into Shavasana. That might be legs up the wall. Maybe there's a supine twist or a seated twist that you'd like to revisit from before. Perhaps there is some ab work you'd like to do. So you want to do a little boat pose. There's always happy baby, which is just delightful for the lower back, allowing that nervous system to calm down. And perhaps you'd like to end your practice tonight in a seated posture that maybe you take for meditation. Maybe you're still deciding. Maybe you're completely in your Shavasana. You're way ahead of my voice. Your body knows the cues, and it's already starting to feel heavy, sinking into the earth. Maybe you need one last deep breath in. Nice exhale out through the mouth. As we start to notice the points in our body that are connected to the earth, feeling that heaviness drawing us down, comforting us, nurturing us, supporting us. Slowly start to imagine that heaviness and that drawing down as you rise, another layer in the body, another space perhaps. If you're seated, maybe the hips start to open and draw down, feeling a little heavier in the sits bones. If you're lying on your back, maybe it's that mid part of the body, that space where the heart lies, where the internal organs are located. They just start to sink down, feel a little bit heavier. If you've chosen to end your practice in child's pose, maybe that mid area is in the belly. Maybe it's in the throat. As we take the next few breaths, imagining the whole top layer of the body draws down, melts into the earth. Maybe it's the front body and the tip of the nose is the last to just melt down and feel heavy. If we're seated, maybe it's tips of the ears and the crown of the head starts to just melt down and away. When you're ready, slowly start to come back to the breath, back to the space, feeling any sensations on the skin. Taking a nice big inhale, perhaps reaching hands over the head. Whether you're sitting or you're in supine, maybe the toes can point. Even if you are in child's pose, maybe you're rising, arms up to the sky. And on the exhale, just releasing. Before you slowly press up, head last, hopefully, if you are in any laying down positions, coming into your seated pose, whether that's on your knees or if you have been sitting cross-legged and you want to recross your legs. Maybe rubbing the hands together. The eyes are still closed. If they're not, that's fine. This will work too. Just sending some nice warmth and energy into the face. We're going to have the palms just out of the front of the face, maybe about ½ inch away. And just feeling any warmth, energy that may be passing from the face to the hands, hands to the face. And again, if your eyes are closed, it's nice to open up the fingers, spread the fingers really wide, and just start to flutter the eyes open. Bringing the hands now into prayer, heart center, or hand over heart. Take a nice deep breath in. Long, slow, luxurious breath out. Bowing the head to the hands, chin draws towards the chest. Thanking ourselves first and foremost for coming to our practice. Thanking each other so much for joining in virtual community. I thank you, of course, as always, for joining me tonight. Taking the hands together, thumb knuckles to third eye, bowing in that gratitude and appreciation to each other and to our beautiful full moon. I wish you namaste. Take care and have a great week.
Darling, darling, you're beautiful. Gotta keep your head up. Never let anything bring you down. Sunshine will always come around. Stay strong, move on. You have such a beautiful soul. Let your energy radiate.